Pythagoras was born in 570 BC, so he's about as old as your mother. Pythagoras was a self-proclaimed mathematician, engineer, thinker, and he was the first person to call himself a philosopher, which means a lover of wisdom. He was obviously also very humble. When Pythagoras was young, he decided that he wanted to learn more about maths, and so he travelled with his teacher along to Egypt. But it was only a trip to learn about maths, so I'm sure nothing too eventful happened. So anyway, he was taken hostage by an invading army, but luckily they didn't kill him, so he was able to go on and tell everyone that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. After being released, Pythagoras didn't just stick to maths though, he also became a cult leader of the religion Pythagoreanism. I wonder how he got the name for it. The members of his cult were carefully selected, and once they were in, they had to follow strict rules, such as being vegetarian. I imagine this means that they could only shop at Whole Foods instead of the meat aisle of Walmart. No eating beans, because Pythagoras believed that beans were inherently unclean, and having to touch the earth when it thundered. Pythagoras and his cult were convinced that they could achieve ultimate enlightenment by doing lots of maths, and that if they were given enough time to do maths, they would go to heaven or something. Because Pythagoras was the leader of the cult and was seen as the master of maths, if a follower of the Pythagorean cult ended up making a groundbreaking mathematical discovery, the finding would be attributed to Pythagoras. And so it's possible that Pythagoras was actually responsible for 0 mathematical breakthroughs and was just stealing ideas from other people the whole time. An important part of the Pythagorean religion was the belief that all numbers were rational, meaning that you could write every single possible number as a nice whole number fraction. Now, obviously, Pythagoras must be stupid, because one quick Google search will tell you that there is such thing as irrational numbers. And unfortunately for him, a member of the Pythagorean religion actually discovered this. This person informed Pythagoras very calmly and respectfully of his mistake, and so Pythagoras, being a philosopher, a mathematician, and a man of reason, drowned him at sea. Even though at this point Pythagoras probably thought of himself as a bit untouchable and above everyone, eventually he made too many enemies for himself, and he was set to be executed. But Pythagoras was determined not to die so that he could do more maths, so he ran away from his assassins and was actually doing a very good job of getting away from them. He was just about to get to a point where the assassins wouldn't be able to get him and he would be lost from them forever, and he would be able to do all of the maths that he could ever want to do. All he had to do was run through a field of beans to escape. But as you remember from earlier, he also believed that beans were inherently unclean, and so he refused to run through the field of beans and was found by the assassins and was killed. Pythagoras may have died, but his teachings still live on. The cult of Pythagoras actually continued on for almost another 2 centuries after his demise,